What truly is love of self? When you love self yesterday, but not today. Loving self is a beautiful thing when you assimilate and everyone else loves it too.
Can't wait no more. Sick of trying, that's why I'm always smiling, 'cause I complicate.
Self-love. It means just what it says it means. It shouldn't be meant in an arrogant way where you just feel you're way up here and just all of that. It just means that you have a healthy view of yourself. You respect yourself. You trust your decisions. Things like that. That kind of love. But the world has become so different that many of us have felt forced to take on a different face or to create a different type of person just to fit in, just to get by. So what's happened is instead of just embracing our true selves, our authentic, made like no other selves, we feel that we have to put on a different version. And so when people fall in love with that version versus our real version, we fall in love with that version as well. But is that really an authentic love for self? Unfortunately, a lot of us have lost our way in that regard. Like, we want to love our true authentic selves. We want to embrace who we were born to be, but we don't know how because of how the world is and how we may be perceived and all that. I mean, I've been there. So I put together the beginning of this video just the way I did on purpose because that is the truth that happened in my life. You put the face on, people love it, then you say, okay, I like this version, and you fall in love with that version of yourself. So the inspiration behind the title, Walk This Way, stems from what we've done as a people to appease others, to get by, to make a better name for ourselves. So we put on masks, different masks, just to be approved by others, to be accepted by others, and we're still not being true to ourselves, not just in a physical sense, not just in a psychological sense, spiritual or emotional. But if you are looking to heal physically, it's going to start with your psyche. Acceptance of yourself, acceptance of your heritage, acceptance of your roots. All these things play a part to your overall wellness and wholeness. And what's even more sad is that there are so many people in this world that do things, put themselves in certain positions, not because they want to, but because, again, they're looking for that acceptance. They're looking for that inroad to where they're trying to be in life. And so once you start becoming okay with yourself, then you can create a different road and help other people along the way. Challenging, especially if you've been walking this way for so long, to develop or flip that mindset into something more connected with yourself universally. But you can do it. It can be done with much perseverance, with much prayer, much determination. And again, you may pave another road, a completely different road for someone else. I don't know how that would look for you with regard to turning this around versus myself or anyone else for that matter. We just know that there is a time in our lives where we have to be okay with being okay with us. And it might even mean going back, tracing the breadcrumbs, if you will, to your past as far as why it is that you're not accepting of who you are and putting others on a platform higher than yourself, and trying to assimilate with a certain culture, certain belief system, a certain group, or what have you, instead of just being okay with your own self. And I'm a firm believer that if God wanted a world full of robots, He would have made them. So everyone is different. We all have different circumstances. We're all different people. And so it's completely okay to be different. Way to sort of tackle that lack of self-love that we might have toward ourselves is to remember our positive points. A lot of us were so deep in wearing those masks that we forgot all about who we are. So pulling up those positive things, reflecting on, meditate on those things, it will bring you much, much, much good. Remember, we can't control how people feel about us. We can't control people's thought process, opinions, but what we can do is not allow another person's opinions of us to become our issue. That's their issue, leave it there. Another thing that I personally have found to be very, very, very useful is finding something or doing something that makes you happy, right? If you want to just go and on the train tracks and stand there and take pictures of the trains, if you want to, I don't know, if you want to sew, if you want to knit, if you want to whatever resonates with your soul, whatever brings you the greatest joy and happiness, then do that. Because what happens is you're feeding your own soul. You're starting to love yourself rather than just doing what everyone else does that you're trying to get along with or make a name for yourself with. So be yourself, be true to yourself. Your soul will thank you, trust me. Be open with people regardless wherever you want your platform to be. For me, it happens to be YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your platform is. Share, be open, find someone you really trust. Talk about your mistakes. It's okay. Everybody's made mistakes. Talk about how you learn from the mistakes. You may be able to help and inspire someone else for ways to better yourself. Just like reading a good book is stimulating to the mind, find ways to improve who you are. Or anything that's building on the positive. Let's not reflect so much on the negative, where we've gone wrong, things we've done wrong, said wrong, ways we live wrong, blah, blah, blah. But it's all about turning things around, starting over, embracing ourselves. And trust me, this will contribute to a healthier view of who you are. Paying attention to our emotions, our senses, our intuition, whatever you want to call it, pay attention. Because when you pay attention, you start to trust these things. It really shows that you're growing and valuing your own opinion rather than always having to look outward because you don't trust or value anything that you're feeling. Keep in mind that nobody is perfect. Even people that you think are perfect are not perfect. They have the same struggles. Even though some people's struggles are hidden, they're not brought to the fore. They're keeping them, kind of pushed down somewhat. Nobody on this earth is perfect. So you're not perfect. Keep that in mind. We're all going to make mistakes. But as long as your goal is to continue to grow, you can only get better at loving yourself. You can only go right. Just facing your fears, whatever it is that you're afraid of about yourself, you have to face it. Because once you face it and let it go, it's so freeing, so liberating. Final thoughts. Remember, nobody can love you more than you love you. It's very achievable. Put some things into practice, one step at a time, one day at a time. You will get there. We're all cut from one universal cloth. We're all beautifully and wonderfully made. So find your worth. Tap into that inner self, because I want the best for you. You are worth it. You are beautiful. You are loved. So love yourself. I'll see you next time.